So I'm very excited today for what we're going to be talking about as we're starting the book, It's Personal. And so I want to briefly just talk about this book because it's very powerful to all of us. How many, just real quick, at the Cranberry campus, have you read the book? Can I just see your hands for a second? Okay. So we give everybody, when they start the ministry, we give them the Lead Small book, right? And so it's the foundation to our small groups and all of that. Now, It's Personal is so awesome because when I read the book, we coupled it. I wish I could give everyone the book, right? But that all of that adds up, and gosh, I'd just give you a million resources if I could. It's Personal is so powerful because it'll bless every avenue of your life when it comes to relationships. It helps you, just like the title, to be personal. And so in the workplace, you'll have better relationships. With your marriage, you'll have better, there's only 2 people in the room that are married, so you'll have a better marriage. And so, in friendships and just small groups, small group leaders, that's why we read it, because it'll make your relationships better. And so the first chapter is actually stop being shallow. Stop being shallow. Now, being shallow has immense benefits at times, right? So you're a little bit more on guard. It can be more surface level. People can come to you, but comes a point in your relationship where shallow doesn't cut it anymore. And you've got to be real. You've got to be authentic. In fact, this generation, the generation that we're leading, they love the word authenticity. Whether they say it, they feel it. I want somebody to just be real with me. We live in a social media world, right? And so our kids, depending on where they're at, and so because we got 5th graders that don't have phones, we've got 6th graders that are just getting phones, and in Jesus' name, they don't have Instagram or anything, right? And so it's 7th, they could stay off of it forever. That would be a blessing. And so, but the reality is, they get in it, they get on it, and it is fake. Right? Why is that? Because everybody posts the highlight reel, so we're constantly seeing those picture-perfect moments, and then it is so hard to not fall into the dangerous trap of comparison. Well, I don't have a pool, and I like your pool, and my legs aren't tan. And what book are you reading? I don't have time to read a book. Anybody? Like, I just feel like that's the world, right? And so, and you start comparing, and it can be so draining and so dangerous. And it's the most connected generation with the most shallow relationships. And so, in this chapter, I want to help us to not be shallow. Stop being shallow. And so here's some ways to not be shallow, because what you could be hearing right now and translating is, oh, if I'm not going to be shallow, then I'm going to open up. And so when I sit in groups today, I'm going to be like this. Well, guys, let me tell you, when I was your age, hold on, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm not saying air all the dirty laundry and talk about all of those things. What I am saying is that when somebody comes to you and they open up because you've created a safe place, and they share something with you, your immediate response shouldn't be to just fix the problem. Most people solve the problem in 17 seconds. Have you ever had somebody tell you that they're going through this, that, and the other, and immediately in your mind, probably really in 5, you're like, I already have the solution to your problem if you just did this. And so, okay, hold on, let me stop you right there. And you just begin to tell them, if you just walk this out, or you read this quote, or you did, you know what I'm saying? Like, anybody, have you been there? But what if you didn't? What if you just stopped and you let 17 seconds turn into 1 minute? And you actually heard somebody. And your auto response wasn't, let me fix this problem. I'm actually preaching to men right now that are married, okay? And so I don't want you to fix it. I just want you to hear me and empathize with me. And so Mike smiled, so I think he's, no, just kidding. And so, but anyway, but that's so real, though, because men want to solve problems. God has designed us to solve problems and to fix things, and women just by nature are more empathetic. Right? And so I'm encouraging you to slow down and actually just listen to somebody for a minute. Just listen. And instead of fixing the problem, this is all helping you to be authentic. Instead of fixing the problem, why don't you just say something real, something genuine, like, wow, that must stink. I can't imagine how that really feels. Thank you for telling me and trusting me to actually open up. And so instead of just solving somebody's problem and sending them on their way like it was a doctor visit, why don't you have relationship and slow down, pump the brakes, and actually hear somebody? Have you ever shared your story with somebody and they didn't interrupt you, they just let you talk? And what happens when you leave? You end up going like this: I just really enjoyed that conversation. Why? Because you got heard. You were heard. Man, there's so much that it is so powerful when you and I do that and we slow down and we take time to actually hear people. And so authenticity can be a wide range of things. It doesn't have to be when I was your age and sharing all of those things. No, it can actually be being present, being real in the moment, and hearing what somebody has to say and actually having a genuine response. And maybe don't fix the problem. Maybe just take a moment to say, well, I'm in this with you. And so we're going to walk through it. Well, what do you have for me? I just have a hug for you. That's what I have for you, because that's what you need right now. You need a hug. I just can't imagine, right? And you just pull them in because you heard them and you validated them and you had empathy and you showed that response. Because what will that do? That'll lead you and I to compassion. And Jesus was always moved by compassion. And so if you're solving the problem too quickly, you're not actually hearing those things. And so just slow down. And boy, what would authenticity look like inside all of our groups? And let me just encourage us with this. Kids, our kids, they spell safe, T-I-M-E. Time. Time. Your consistency, you showing up, you being there, you loving them, you actually hearing them. And I think for so many students that if you sat down with them and had a heart-to-heart conversation and you talk some of these things out, they'll tell you, I tried telling my mom, I tried telling my dad, they didn't hear me. They'll literally tell you that. Because why? Because it is human nature. It is so easy to go right in the problem-solving mode, and in 17 seconds, let me tell you what you need to do, go get this done. Okay? And it is so easy that when you're inside the fishbowl and you're inside the water with somebody, that you can become compassionately calloused and you can stop hearing things, right? And stop feeling what somebody else feels. And so sometimes our kids feel that. It's not intentional. It's not like they have bad parents. No, nobody wakes up in the morning. No parent wakes up in the morning and says, how can I screw up my kid's life? Nobody ever has said that. Parents have the best intentions. I really believe that. And so what do we want to do? We want to come alongside mom and dad and help them. And that is a great way that you can come alongside and actually being a voice of reason, being authentic, hearing the situation. And then what if you partnered with parents? What would that look like in your kid's life? And so that's my encouragement to you. So I want to pivot. Stop being shallow. All right, so we bookend it. There it is. We closed that, and I pray that helped you as we're going to go through the rest of this chapter, not the chapter, the whole entire book, and there's incredible stuff to help us not be shallow as leaders. This will benefit every aspect of your relationships, not just you serving in the ministry. And so I just encourage you, if you don't own the book, buy it. It is short, it's sweet. You could read it probably in 30 minutes, and so it is a great read. But I want to pivot real quick for just a minute, and then we're going to pray, because we got move-ups. Yeah, there's a good moment there. We've got move-ups. Leaders, I've got to tell you that literally over the 4 years of running our small group model and what we've been doing and how we've been leading, we just transitioned one of the largest group of 8th graders. It was incredible. We had over 32 or 33, I could be screwing that up, students that actually came to Sozo on Wednesday night. That's a huge group of students. It was incredible. It was very powerful. And so where did that come from? That came from the way that you guys are stewarding people. God's most precious thing. It's the thing that he loves the most, right? And we get the honor and the opportunity to do that. And so I wanted to tell you that because today's move-ups. And so we're getting an amazing 5th grade class of students. They are incredible. And I want to slow down for a minute, and I want to encourage you, all of our campuses, to put yourself in their shoes. Do you remember the first time you started a new job? Do you remember the first time you showed up to your first day at school? and all of those brand new things. Do you remember the first time you showed up and you joined the family and you were here and you were serving and you were nervous? You didn't know anybody. Are they going to like me? And do you remember all of those things? They're real, right? Our kids are walking in today and they're going from being the top dog in the 3rd and 4th grade classroom to now they're not. And literally, you and I will be able to look around the room. Which one of these is not like the other? You've got an 8th grader that's right here and has more facial hair than me. And you're like, what the heck is going on? Your voice is even deeper than mine. Like, this is wild, okay? And then you've got a 5th grader that is still got the squeaks, and it's so much fun, and they've got the Hello Kitty shoes on that light up, and they're jumping up and down in service, and it is so incredible. And they're raising their hand, can I go to the bathroom? And you're like, no, you just got to hold on. We got to do that before we come. And it is so much fun. But could you imagine all of the anxious feelings that they might have today? I'm new. I don't know anybody. And so you and I can help squash those concerns. And I'm asking at all of our campuses that we go out of our way to help people know that they are family, that they belong, and that this is a safe place. And so here's some signs, if you will, of a student that feels out of place. They're on their phone and they're alone and they're surfing. Have you done it? You get on Facebook because you're like, I don't really know what I'm doing right here, so I get on it, and so I start scrolling mindlessly because I don't know how to connect. Well, there's a sign, right, that could be happening. They're off to their side. They've got their Bible open. They're reading it because I need something to do with myself right now, right? There could be all of those things, and what do we do as leaders? We can go cherry pick and pull them all together and sit down and play Uno or go play a video game or huddle them up. And, well, those ones aren't my kids. Well, they're all of our kids, right? We have our few that we're very intentional with, that we know their name. We know all of those things about them, and we get to learn. But we can help them be family. And it's nerve-wracking today. It's nerve-wracking. All right, so I hope that helped you. I hope that brought some things to your awareness. Let's pray, and then let's play. Yeah.